Samuel was working there. Coming in there, and he was just like, "Do you want to do this photo shoot?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Wow. That's crazy.
What bank you worked at?
Yeah, huh?
What bank you worked at?
Ohio.
And that's crazy. We were just with Samuel yesterday.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Every time somebody be like, "I work at a bank," I'd be like, "That's just such a."
You was a bank teller? You give me that. Like
I was a bank teller, then I was a banker, and then like
a banker
a little bit.
What's the difference between a banker and a bank teller?
Like the teller is like
get the money out.
They just like do the front line.
I had a seat.
I had a little office. I was making a little better coin.
Denying people's loans.
Well, I know that's right. Go ahead, banker. Well, okay. Hey, y'all. What's up?
What's up? How's
okay.
It's actually, the weather's really nice today, and it's like
it is nice. It's giving like spring, even though it's snowing this past weekend.
That's how you get sick.
Okay.
It's a trick.
Well, welcome back to Kiki with the Bros. I'm Francisco.
I'm Chris.
And we have some great guests, and I'm really excited about this episode. Like I was telling Jerica back there, I think this is going to be our best episode because of the mix of people and personalities. Make sure y'all watch the other ones, though. But I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves.
Well, my name is Ky. Pronouns he, him. I am originally from Springfield, Ohio. And no, originally from Springfield, Ohio. I lived in New York for some time, and I've been back in Columbus probably about 2.5 years now. So, and I've been here for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. So the whole time I've been back.
Nice.
The whole time I've been back, I've been working here. And I like my job.
I also love that what you do on the side, too. Your other job is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on here.
Definitely. So I am one of the writers for Gay Magazine.
Shout out to Gay Magazine.
Shout out to Gay Magazine.
All of them on Instagram.
All over Instagram.
Yeah.
I do a lot of their like media stuff and like interviews. We've done a lot. We're at like 125,000 followers.
How'd you get connected with them?
So actually, it's a funny story. So cute. There's this guy. I'm sorry, they go by she, her now. Her name is Lou. Get with Lou, and she actually So when I started making videos on Instagram, my first video went like 10K. Right, my very first one, and so I kept making them, and then I just kept going up and up and up. And so she had reached out to me, and we used to just like each other's videos, you know, showing love and sharing each other's stuff. And she reached out to me and said, "Hey, there's this guy in Atlanta that has a magazine, and I don't have the time for it, but I told him that I think you would be great." Mm-hmm. I do not know this girl. I didn't know this girl from Adam's House Cat, right? So I thought it was very nice of her to do that. And so I called him up. We had a conversation, and boom, that was it. And then I've been with them for the last 5 or 6 years.
Oh, that's dope. Shout out to genuine people though, because like she was real genuine and saw like your potential.
Yeah. It was very nice. And so I've been doing that ever since. And they're a Black media outlet, and I love it over there. And the CEO Corey and Dom are very, very good people. They do whatever they can, put me on. Hey, can you do this interview and this and that? You know, so I make my time to definitely do what I can for them as well.
So another full circle moment.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, go ahead, Javi.
Shout out to the full circles.
Full circles.
Yeah, no ovals, boo. No, okay.
What's up, y'all? My name is Javi, Javier Alvarez. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, but the 614 raised me. I'm here from Columbus, Ohio.
North side.
I'm a Midwest kind of girl, so it just is what it is.
Sorry.
But yeah, north. But,
okay, period.
Yeah, at my core, I'm a harm reductionist. I'm a sex educator. And I'm just very excited to get into it.
Y'all want to get into some things?
Get into some things. That reminds me of Queen Radio.
Yeah.
Right?
Shout out to the Queen. Shout out to the Queen. So, firstly, before I get into the questions, into like the main topic. So what's everyone's relationship status here?
I am playing games.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Okay, Summer Walker, period.
I'm for me, as of right now, where I'm at in my age, and nobody needs to know how old I am. I am 16. No,
okay.
No, I just don't. For me, I don't have time to be considerate of somebody else's feelings right now, and so I am just not in the mood to, where you going? What time you get off work? And I don't want to deal with that. With the part of like
that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Play-by-play update.
Yeah, and for me, I feel I'm a very quiet person outside of work. Believe it or not, I talk a lot at work, but I'm very like chill at home. Like I like to play the video game and chill. So if you're not adding to my peace, then I really don't want you.
Okay, so you're playing games like Summer Walker.
Yes, definitely.
So you have to me when I hear that, it's like, okay, I got a few pieces, but it's like it ain't nothing serious.
Yeah,
okay,
ain't nothing serious.
Okay, Javi, you're next.
I'm definitely single and ready to mingle.
Are you mingling now? Or are you like ready to like
I like to cast my net wide, but I'm very picky with it. So I'm throwing shit back.
Are you?
I'm throwing it back. Don't do that.
I was asking a question. Okay, Chris, you're next.
Wait, what was the question?
Okay, amnesia. What's your relationship status? Be careful how you answer this question. This will be on public platforms.
I am. And
girl,
it's
complicated.
Complicated. Like I'm not in a relationship, but I am dating.
A person?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I have no clue what that means.
Girl, a whole lot of nothing.
Playing games like me.
She play okay.
Yeah. But just with one person.
Think I would.
Girl, she was fumbling words, boo. Ooh.
I know. I was. You should call me off guard. What's the stage right before a relationship?
A situationship. It's complicated.
Getting on my nerves.
Single.
So single or relationship?
You're courting.
You're dating.
I'm dating.
You're dating.
Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes dating can be like, it can be in a plural sense. So I was just like, but are you exclusively dating somebody?
Yeah, exclusively.
We're
Okay.
So to me, that's a relationship.
Okay.
Do you see this person every day?
Like we FaceTime every day.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's a relationship. Y'all just don't live together.
No.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're building to a relationship. You're building to a relationship.
Yeah, building to it. I love that. Okay.
I guess I have to go next, right? So I'm very much single with the big S on my chest.
Are you ready to mingle?
Yeah, of course. I think I'm a natural mingler. Anyway.
Are you saying you're a natural flirt?
That's what I hear in the streets. I don't know.
The streets.
Well, okay, I don't be in the streets. I just hear, I'm the feedback.
Yeah.
Heavy on the feedback.
We're hearing from the sidewalk.
Yeah, that I'm definitely open, but I think I'm like a hopeless romantic at heart. So like, I don't know, but I'm single. I'm gonna be honest. But go ahead.
Well, when you say hopeless romantic, I think about like
I want a man. That's what I'm saying. Oh.
I was thinking about how you meet them, like.
Oh yeah, that'd be cute. Like one, two. But that's not really like
The Notebook.
I never seen The Notebook.
You're romanticizing.
You never seen The Notebook?
No.
Oh, I'll cry. Don't watch it.
I mean, I think that goes into like the topic, like why is it, do you find it, let me ask this question, do you find it difficult to date as either a Black gay man, a Latinx gay man, a Mexican gay man, or man of color, whether it's because of geographic reasons or just to pull them in or like just being a gay man? Well, how does everyone identify sexually before I start calling people gay men?
Sexual orientation.
Yes, what's everyone's sexual orientation?
I am a homosexual. I'm gay.
I didn't want to assume, but
yeah, thank you.
Same. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not even gonna ask you, boo. Well, you're not a gay man?
I mean, is it obvious?
A little.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine.
I'm a little butch queen.
Well, what is your read your hat for us?
Oh, my hat says princess treatment or get the F my face.
So I think the hat gave it away, babe. So yeah, did y'all find it difficult to date?
Now I do. I feel like when I was younger, I had two boyfriends. I had a couple of boyfriends when I was in undergrad. But I feel like now I definitely find it harder to date because social media has ruined a lot of things as far as what people think relationships should be. It's so strange. You keep hearing this, who pays on the date and who does this and who does that, when to me, it's about genuine gestures. So if I'm going on a date with somebody, I don't need them to spend $60, $70 on me. Actually, that's kind of weird. Actually, I'm really low maintenance. I'm a McDonald's type of girl. Like, we can literally go to McDonald's, get sweet tea and a Big Mac, and then just be in the company of each other and just have a conversation.
Like, that's the quality time.
Yeah, I don't, that's my love language, like quality time. Like, I don't need all of that. So I feel like it's harder to date her now.
I'm a McChicken kind of girl, but on the first date, you know what? I feel like...
Wait, you're doing McDonald's thing on the first date?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care?
Because I don't know people's pockets.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's how we gonna get to know them on the first date, though, girl.
If somebody's asking me out and be like, hey, you want to, let's just grab a burger. It can be Five Guys. It can be anything
That's
like
cute.
That's cute, though. I am a low maintenance. I feel like I am a low maintenance person when it comes to that, like... Okay, Javi, don't be rolling your eyes over there, boo.
I didn't.
Because we're going to get to you.
Chris's hat.
No shade, girl. Pass it over. No, but for the first day, if we're talking like, I see what you're saying, though. In terms of dating, I do think we put a lot of pressure and standard on things that necessarily isn't obtainable. And can you reciprocate that yourself? But you are asking from somebody else. So I definitely agree with that. And I like thoughtful things. So like if you put thought behind something that we do on the first day, it doesn't mean it had to be a whole bunch of money. Like if we go to like a painting class or there's a lot of free shit so you can do. But if it's a thought that counts, because at that point, I hope I've been conversating with you enough that I feel comfortable to go on a date that you know something I'm interested in. Now, I do like to eat and I do like McDonald's, but can we do like a little cheesecake factory maybe? Like that's low. Yeah. That's all that highs and lows.
Yeah,
something like that.
Applebee's.
But I definitely see what you're saying.
Well, a good 2 for $20.
Yo, no shade.
I just don't need nobody to be trying to drop no money. Do the most, Chris.
Yeah,
like that. I just feel like if it's
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, but
girl,
for me, I feel uncomfortable with people doing monetary things for me. It makes me uncomfortable.
I get that too. I do. Does
it feel transactional at that point then?
Yeah, kind of. Because I feel like if you get me something or you do something for me, I feel like you're going to want something later. Like, I remember my ex-boyfriend buying me. He was like, oh, I seen these real nice shoes. I said, don't worry about it, baby.
Oh, wait.
He was like, but I know you would like them. I said, no, I do like them over there. I was like, I just don't want you to. I'm very much so like I buy a lot of stuff for myself, and I'm the same with Francisco. Like if you like, I like comic books and stuff, and that. So if you on your way home, you see a little book bag or something I like, that's the type of gift that I want. And I a Marvel book bag or something.
An ideal world though, and I think this is where I start to get a little delusional. An ideal world, I would like both, like thoughtful gifts and monetary gifts and. Vacation.
Thoughtful gift is like, oh, he told me the other day he liked this bag. I'm about to go get it for him.
Yeah.
Talk about low maintenance.
But I'm like also realistic. Like it doesn't even have to be that. Like, just like remembering things that someone remembering something you tell them, whether it's small or big, I feel like it's significant. But to you, Hobby, because you had all them faces and twisting around. Do you feel like it's hard to date with you? Like, from your perspective?
I think that in the beginning, it wasn't hard to date. Like when I was entering my 18, 19, 20s, I think as I've gotten older, I've evolved and it's informed a lot of the values that I kind of needed to divest from. When you said hopeless romantic, it really resonated with me because I think when I was, no shade, but like when I was 19, 20, 21, I was stuck in that phase of being hopelessly romantic, kind of romanticizing what I wanted from the world or from dudes. And it just wasn't realistic. I think it was a little bit of delusion there.
Yeah, no shit. I'm a little delusional.
I'm delusional.
So, yeah, okay.
But it's hard now.
Chris, like, you're like, you be getting like, you have had some nice gifts. And we also, guys, I'm referring, when I say date, I mean like, like actually going on date courtship, not like, oh, girl, I got a date tonight.
Let me change.
Change your answer, Hobby.
And in that case,
so Chris, like, so I know you like monetary things too, but I don't think that that's all that you're about. So, what is your perspective on it?
For me, I think I like the gifts because sometimes, majority of the time, it's very thoughtful gifts. So I do like you going out your way thinking of me, and then like it could be expensive. That's fine. I'm not gonna not accept the gift. So.
Do you think like okay? I always think sometimes though with guys, like sometimes gifts is a way to make up something else that they're lacking.
Okay, yeah, like you cheated, so now I gotta get you something.
That or like you're not emotionally available, but I've bought you like monetary
that's
things.
People's love language. Though.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes people don't know how to show love other than buying you stuff or doing stuff for you because that's how they see their mom or their dad do things. You know. I think it's a family dynamic sometimes too, cultural.
Yeah. But also you have to, as a partner at some point, you have to take how you show love and give the love that your partner wants to be received the love.
That's true.
I agree.
You gotta change with them.
I definitely agree with that. Like to piggyback off of what you were saying, like culturally, do you think like when it comes to like race and like cultural differences impact how you approach dating? And what that looks like for you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I don't have a problem with dating outside of my race. I think white guys are just as cute as black men or whatever, Spanish. It doesn't matter. For me, though, it ends up typically boiling down to a cultural thing because, like, for example, I'm a big movie buff. Mm-hmm. Like, I love movies. I love TV, cartoons, you know, all these things. And so... You know, I don't want to be sitting with my partner one day and we're watching something and I'll be like, you show is ugly. And my white boyfriend look at me and be like,
what you talking about?
What you talking about? And be like, color purple? What? Oh, God. You know, so it's one of those, you know, or, you know, I'm like, next stop, Balboa Savings and Loans. If you ain't never seen Set It Off, and it's most times people haven't seen these movies.
Well, I never seen Color Purple.
Well, you're young, though, so that's okay.
Really?
No.
Well, how old are you again?
30.
But like also
that is no excuse.
But I think that goes into like cultural and you know like racial dynamics too because you were raised by your mother's white, right? And it's probably not something that was like normalized. Let's watch The Color Purple.
Yeah. So that's true. But yeah, for me, it usually boils down to a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're going to date outside of your race, especially if you're Caucasian or of another race, I think you have to have the ability to have empathy with your partner and certain things that are going on in the world regarding them that might not necessarily affect you. And so if you don't have that knowledge or that want to learn or that want to understand them, then it could be kind of difficult, especially later down the line.
So it's about extending grace sometimes and within context.
Yeah, I think that sometimes people you have to understand because what affects me might not affect you, but you have to be willing to listen and understand. Be like, you know what? And it's not always like trying to be somebody's therapist, right? Like, it's not always about trauma dumping and all that. It's just simply saying, you know what? That was messed up today, and I can see why you would be upset. You hungry? It's literally can be just that simple. Just acknowledge what I'm talking about, and then we can move on. I don't need to dwell on it for the next 20 minutes like some people do.
All right. Well, how do you feel, Javi?
I would say that eagerness and willingness to learn, when it comes to cultural bounds, I think like for me, I relate it back to like the language itself. Like I speak Spanish fluently. Dating is so much easier dating inside of my race because of the language. It kind of lends to just natural flirting. It's a romance language. It's just already there. I think that there's a disconnect and a lack of willingness to learn from other folks or from other folks to learn about my culture particularly. And it has nothing to do with the language, but general context about like, why do I put family first? Like, why is my mom calling me every day? And me having to expand on maybe like what familism means to my culture. I don't think is my job to be that educator, but there's certainly, like you said, you move with grace in that space. And so I have a desire to want to teach my partner essentially in those moments where there may be deficits about like the culture.
Do you think navigating the complexities of your own racial identity or your partner's racial identity it affects maybe self-esteem of both of you while dating as a gay man of color?
I don't necessarily think so. I'm like super like pro-black.
Mhm.
Like I'm pro-black. Like the other day I was talking. It's so funny. I was talking to a guy the other day, and we were just he just made a. I don't know if he was making a joke, but it definitely came off like kind of rude to me. And he said something to the effect of, "Why you don't like the police or something?" And I was like, "Excuse me," right, it's stuff like that, right?
Wait.
And so I said,
Cut the camera.
I said, I don't have a problem with the police. And then he tried to, well, if there wasn't no police, we would have chaos. I said, I think the common person knows that. I said, but what the common person didn't know is, did you know that the sheriff's badge was the original slave catcher's badge? So I'm pro-black like that. Like I know things like that. I think at some point, that could maybe damage the self-esteem of my partner if I'm always kind of shooting you down when you say stuff like that. Because I think people say a lot of things unconsciously, not in the sense of trying to hurt your feelings.
Trying to be funny.
Right, but because they think it's a joke. But it's like, what? I don't have a problem with the police. And why would you assume I have the problem with the police? Why? Because I'm black? So it's stuff like that. I don't like the police because I'm black. So it's things like that. So I think at some point it could damage your partner's self-esteem.
I could see that.
Because they're kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't never have a conversation with them. And I think there are some people always too that think that every conversation has to turn into like some sort of racial debate.
Right.
And also some like the oppression Olympics. Yeah. And so I don't play those games with people. Once I see we getting into that territory, I'm like, girl, go.
I think for me, like from my perspective, I don't know if Chris can relate to this, but like being that I come from a mixed race family, like my mom being white and my dad being Dominican, I feel like I see those complexities in their relationship because there's aspects of each other they're not going to understand. So like
never.
Yeah, and never they're not going to understand. And I feel like that does create strain in relationships because the dynamic of like how the world may treat my father versus how they treat my mother, and she's not going to get it and he's not going to get her perspective. So I think that navigating that, I've seen that. And I think that it shows me like as the product of that relationship, like I think it takes a level head of like my expectations of my dating dynamics outside of just like the race and ethnicity part. Like again, go back to extending grace of like complexities of different life experiences as well. Like we have the shared experience of being gay men, but your life like may have been different. Like you may have not had your parents at all in your life versus I have, or you may have been raised on survival and I've been raised on love. It's like that difference of an extending grace of like, we don't necessarily may understand each other in that way.
Raised on survival and raised on love. That's wild to even think about.
Yeah, because
now that you said it out loud.
Even like, but there's people who have both parents and they still aren't raised on love. So I've taken that into perspective as well. But I don't know how. What about you, Chris? Like you kind of quiet over there. What's your tea?
Well, I've never dated outside my race. Well, I consider myself like a black man, even though like I'm white. But I've never dated a white man. But
where
you're biracial?
Yeah, but like
you ain't white.
Yeah, you're biracial.
I mean, my bad.
But but I done it. Like it's not like I'm going out and saying like, oh, I'm white or
But who thought that?
No one. I mean, people think that like I'm like mixed with something even like Latina.
Yeah, I thought you was when I first met you.
Yeah, for sure. And so yeah, I've never dated a white guy or I've always dated black guys. So
get it from your mama.
Yeah, she
same.
My mom is a Sag too, so I'm just like her.
Okay.
That's funny.
I've definitely wanted to, experience out, but I feel like white guys in particular, like they don't really approach me. They don't like. I want them to make the first move. Like I don't want to say them, the white guy.
But when was that half baked?
What happened?
That one Caucasian man was all in your face.
Yeah, he was telling me some crazy stories. But that's
That was different. Oh,
No, I guess I could see that, but that ain't the type of white guy I want.
Oh, okay.
I think it's people of color. I think it's people of color. I think we be looking intimidating too.
I think so too.
Like we really don't be like when I'm out and about. Like I really do have a resting.
But is that a microaggression? Like you're just assuming that
It could be. But some people are just like
standoffish,
very
naturally.
friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you don't look friendly, they're automatically like, But me, I'll be out. I'll be like, child. But I could be happy. I'm
Me
just not a
too.
smiling person.
What's crazy is I have a big smile. So like once I don't know, I do have a resting bitch face, but I mean.
No, I agree. When I be out, I'll be like,
Yeah, I don't mean it though, because then once you start talking to me, I start getting
But
bubbly.
Javi seems like a nice person all the time.
Right?
He's always
Javi is a
smiling.
nice person. He
It's
talks
very
to everybody.
Yeah,
He is approachable.
Yeah,
So
we
am I not
want
approachable? Wait,
something.
time out. Am I not approachable?
You are.
No, you are.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think that for me, I definitely get the rep of, RBF for sure.
Put you on RBF, Chris.
I think
No. Oh, okay, good. Thank God.
I think
But that one, yeah.
that one. Well,
She's a rude.
Well, I think I'll be definitely RBF. I think Javi's he is a good example of like how to be nice even though they don't really mean it. I.e., what's that word? That 4-letter word.
Don't say
Fake.
that.
So yeah, but you know what? I'm working on it, like RBF, because I am a real sweetheart. But I think I can.
Because you're light skin.
Ooh, we're going there.
No,
That's a stereotype. That is like
though.
associated with
It's
sweetheart.
associated.
Yeah.
It's associated.
Yeah.
People think that light-skinned people are uppity acting and rude. And so they think that they're not approachable. You hear that in all cultures,
Right.
whether it be gay,
That's
straight,
true.
anything. They think that
They're
light-skinned
better than
people are
everybody.
better than people.
I think it's something I'm more consciously aware of as I'm getting older and like trying to be like that, so I'll be more approachable. I was trying to make I speak to everybody when they come into the room. I try.
Absolutely.
I try to do all of those nuances now, but I know I have a little bit of RBF.
It's definitely.
I don't know if that's ever gonna change, but I'm trying.
No.
I'm trying.
It probably won't change.
It probably won't.
Kind of stuck.
Sometimes that's good to like protect your peace.
Self-preservation.
Sometimes I think maybe it's a slight
because I don't want you
being
to think you can
shaded.
play with me.
That part.
Yeah, that part.
Slippery slope.
I don't think you want. I don't want you to think that you could play in my face.
Don't try.
Have y'all ever encountered like when dating, like being fetishized?
Yeah, big time.
Like not even just like racially, like just for like aspects of like maybe your characteristics of how you look or things of that nature. Like that's happened to y'all.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Probably.
definitely.
Okay, like because you like you play in like androgyny, correct?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself androgynous?
Yeah, well, I
'Cause I don't like your
guess
drags.
it's androgynous, femme queen type of thing. Yeah,
So-
I do. So I've had that conversation before of like that's just like a part of me.
Yeah.
but that's like not me. This is me.
Yeah. How we? Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say androgynous, playing in that femme queen.
So I
space.
feel like that you might like with that it comes I'm sure with like some fetishy type of
Yeah, I get when I'm up in them. That's what we call it. Up in 'em.
girl.
That's the old school term. Up in geesh.
Okay.
Yeah, you get some crazy. I've been approached by people. Hey, you want to do this threesome or hey, me and my wife or I get that a lot. Like the whole like, can you want to hook up with me and my wife? And,
Oh, we gonna get to that.
Bring
Them
on the
questions.
yeah, but I've definitely been fetishized for sure. And if not for that, it's as I started to gain more weight, I used to be really, really, really skinny. And so as I've gained more weight, definitely been fetishized for like parts of my body. It makes me uncomfortable for sure.
I know Javi has over there. Miss, what's the Sniffies? What she be on?
Don't do
Snuffles.
That.
Snuffles.
Don't do that.
What's it called? What's the one app?
It's the Sniffies, the cruising one.
Okay, but it was another one that you be on too.
Scruff.
Scruff.
Scruff?
Yes.
Yeah, is it called Scruff? Yeah.
Scruffiana. Shout out to Scruff. Shout out to
I
Jack
thought the
Grinder.
servers were down.
It's an old app.
No, not really.
I ain't heard-
BGC.
I
It's
ain't-
more intended towards like bears.
Oh, okay.
so you're a
it's
bear.
migrated to that.
Do you consider yourself a bear?
Sure. I think other people. Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what that like. What is considered a bear? I don't know what
Bearded,
anything.
hairy.
Oh well, yeah. I was.
So am I a bear?
You said you don't or do?
I said
You
I'm-
are hairy
Oh,
and have a
okay.
full beard.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I'll
Yeah.
call you a little bear cub.
Yeah,
little
little
cub.
I'm a bear cub. Okay.
But you ain't like, yeah.
I'm getting thick, y'all, so I am a cup.
The bear thing with like
a little cubby on it.
No, I think in the gay community it's associated with weight, but most people don't. Yeah, I don't consider bears a weight either. I just consider that like just a big man.
That's really because I've always looked at it as like a bear is like a bigger guy.
Sometimes they are, but not bigger. It be just really the belly, really.
It's like subjective, like, because I was having this conversation with somebody. Who was I talking to? I was talking to my homegirl like about what trade is, and I was like, that's such a subjective term because people have so many like
it changes
because for me the trade is like a man who is
just to your liking. Like,
well, I don't get into the trade. PSA, get out my DMs. Okay, I don't get into the trade.
I've never been with the trade either. Well, okay, what's your definition?
Okay, I'm getting to my definition because I feel like these little nuances and terms that we use is like it's like under a rainbow of different, no pun intended. It's like there's so many wide-ranging definitions of these things. So trade to me is like a man who identifies as straight and lives his life as a straight man openly in the public and is masculine presenting, whatever that means but by like just like societal terms, we'll say
standards,
masculine presenting, and on the side within enclosed doors has sex with men or those who are born as men or whatever or bending over, what I've realized the girls have, and I think it's like maybe because we've turned it into like a euphemism, like, oh, girl to trade, or he giving tradey, like, and if you're presenting masculine or like anything of that nature, like to me the real trade, how the old girls taught me, the real trade don't nothing about
the gay scene,
nothing about the gay scene. It's not hanging out at the club. It's not on the apps. If you're the trade, you don't know nothing about jazz.
Well, I think well, that's true, but now for me, I don't even think the trade exists no more.
Okay.
I was just telling my best friend in New York, like, I'm just calling these men bisexual at this point.
Everybody be twirling.
Exactly. Like the trade is. Listen, the moment that I was talking to this boy in college, and the moment he told me, I was like, yeah, I gotta get ready. He was like, well, how long it take? Because you ain't gotta do nothing but use like a water bottle. I said, a water bottle?
A water bottle?
I said, what, in the truck stop?
Well, I feel like,
how do you get that up there?
Child, it ain't doing the job for me. But I was like, what is this?
Bottle.
Innovation.
I've heard that before. And they get into the bathtub and they, we sometimes you to utilize your resources. Maybe the girls don't got the $1.99. Innovation.
No, this boy had $1.99.
Not a straw.
This boy had money.
There was a girl who told us about it. They used there was a lady who told us
the reverse siphon.
She's not a lady, but she's a gay man. He told me that he uses a toothbrush and he'll put the toothbrush on a top of a washcloth, and when they in there,
yeah, girl. Okay, well, that's a good way to cause some internal bleeding.
I ain't gonna call no names out, but
I was there. It's an auntie.
And I promise you, they're doing that and not telling their doctor, because you are not supposed to be.
Because I feel like that could tear something up there, but Absolutely. I don't know. But I was like, girl, you got to do what you got to do. Maybe that was like back in the days, like it was
my gosh,
innovative.
I feel like that.
What is this? Paris is burning. Like,
well, something's burning.
But what you got? But I really do hope you're using like a fleet or a douche at the end of the day.
At least some water.
Some type of water.
I think you had like mentioned it before about how social media plays a role into like our perceptions of dating, our expectations of dating. So do you think the representation or lack of gay men of color in media or popular like television, even though I feel like there's a shift in that, but not completely, influences our dating experiences and how we view dating?
Yeah.
I think definitely.
I think for sure.
I think we went to book club last month, and the topic that the book was about cruising. And it was a Black author that wrote this book about cruising. And I think everybody in the room had a deep consensus about like, OMG, like the portrayals of his engagements are him doing cruising acts with white dudes. And our reality is that, well, there's not a lot of rep or not a lot of folks engaging in that, because of what comes along with that.
Right.
That kind of like that privilege kind of piece we don't talk about when it comes to cruising. But baby, if you get caught out in a public act, you're going to jail.
You're going to jail. You're on a sex offender
list. It's a charge, and
No, you can.
Yeah,
no,
for real.
Even in the car?
Probably maybe not in the car.
I feel like the police should just be like, girl, just get up.
Yeah, it depends on who you running into.
That part too.
But a cop could be.
Oh.
A cop could not have had a good donut. Could have been stale that morning.
Well, I'm the donut now.
But we talked about in book club though that there was a lack of people of color doing these participating in these type of things.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no like demonstratable engagements that you can really speak on like
those type of things don't even cross my mind. Yeah. And so I think for sure social media is, and I think we see a lot of Black men or Black representation dating Caucasian counterparts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think for me, I think it's in
American Fiction. No, did you watch that?
No, what is that?
Oh, it was a great movie.
It's on. I think
Issa Rae was in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a
that new movie
cast. And
yeah.
The one Black gay character comes out, and he has 2 white gays with him.
That is so. It's like that's everything.
I think for me, especially when we're talking about celebrities and stuff, because those are kind of our representation,
right?
I think some Black gay men or Black celebrities are dating Caucasian people for access. When I say access, I mean, that you can maybe get into this space quicker if you have a Caucasian counterpart.
And that is really real. And that is really real. It translates to the real world.
Yeah, right. It makes you look less menacing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here's my white husband. Here's my white girlfriend. It makes you look less
more socially acceptable.
Yes. And so, but I also think there's a piece of acceptance there as well. When dating in the Black community, femininity is not as much appreciated. And so I think that when people go where they're accepted, whether it be Caucasian, Asian, it doesn't really matter. I think people go where they're loved and accepted. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot more interracial relationships. Because there are people who have stories of them being in their 20s and, they're older now. We're all in our 30s, some of us.
I'm 28, babe.
Okay. Well, yeah. And so it's a thing of like, if you can't find love in your community, you're going to go where you feel accepted. And if it happens to be with somebody else, then that's okay.
Do you think
that's a pass for me?
Do you think in your do you think in your experiences in dating or like being in relationships, has it lent you to build relationships where people you've trauma bonded with, meaning like you've connected with this person, not just because you may love them or you may be sexually attracted to them, but as time has gone on, there might be the only reason why you are holding on to this relationship is because of shared experience of negative experiences in life.
You got to stop. I think you got to stop those type of relationships early.
Yeah.
I think now that we're at a point of awareness, if you see those type of bonds happening, you got to get into that early.
I think in my younger years, I was definitely in relationships where we trauma bonded, but nothing crazy wild. We was just experiencing undergraduate level studies in a very like vacuum sort of way. And I think that having a partner to commiserate with, I think was okay with me in those 4 years of undergrad.
Well, I definitely have, and I feel like I'm horrible at choosing men. So like it's just like it's always like I'm just bad at it. Like it's just I don't know why, and I think it connected. I was like at the bar last night, y'all. I had like 6 espresso martinis, and at that point,
that got caffeine in it.
Yeah, I got caffeine in it. But I did Kahlua and Bailey's, not tequila. Ooh. So the Resposados, I think, be tearing us up. And we begin.
So that don't be having enough alcohol.
It wasn't saying, I got a
Can
stomach.
I get a wet wipe, please?
Well, I got a stomach of steel.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah. But anyways, so I feel like from my experiences, like, I'd be like, why do I choose like people who have like
all these problems?
All these motherfucking problems. All these problems.
Like you gotta do that because of the field you're in? Do you feel like
yes. Well, I don't know. I think that has something to do with it. I think it's because my own, navigating therapy and stuff over the last few months, particularly. I think that I was always bad at creating boundaries with people and I think now that's why I'm so strong on boundaries, because I would recognize those things early on. There's always red flags and stuff, but I would ignore it, or I think I would extend grace a bit too much, and it lent to like affecting me, and I don't want to do that anymore. And I think like that doesn't necessarily make people are bad people. I think maybe it's bad for each other or are led to a bad experience. But also not every experience is bad either. I think everything is a learning opportunity. And I think you're right, Javi. Like I'm relatively young, and you're kind of just navigating, trying to figure out life. Like especially dating as gay men, we develop, I think, emotionally a lot slower. They say men develop a lot slower, but I think gay men, our experiences in life lend to us, like, we have to figure out a lot of things out on our own, or like through friends or experience, relationships, or like shared, what's it called?
It kind of asks us to prioritize other things that kind of make us numb to the way that we're engaging with like love or relationships. And I think, last week I went to a training, and one of the doctors at this training said, like, well, if you don't deal with your stuff first, how you gonna get to that level?
That's why I was like,
RuPaul said,
that's why exactly where I was like, when I say those things, I was like, what was it reflective? And what's their experience with me? Like, I feel like I also could lend to somebody else's, like, trauma from a relationship or like a situationship or whatever case, because I feel like a lot of us end up in like situationships or not like real relationships. Like a real relationship to me is not because you consistently talk to somebody for a period of time or you are having sex or something. It's just like that doesn't lend to a real
that goes back to what I was saying. I don't want you in my face.
Okay.
That part. It's like what was you about to say, Chris?
Well, I was gonna say to piggyback off just not learning when you're little, you're not learning certain experiences. So like now I'm in a situation where like my partner is being very, giving me grace. Cause like I'm learning new things about how to express my love and being vulnerable and being better at communication, which I feel like looking at my parents, I never learned. Yeah. And then throwing in being a gay man, like you already have a wall up, and then being black, you have an extra wall up. So like just being vulnerable with someone is like very hard for me. And I'm like learning to learn to be more vulnerable with people.
I definitely agree. Like for me, my family, nobody in my family has a healthy romantic relationship. I've never seen that growing up. I never had that experience. You know how some people have like, oh, my grandparents were in love with each other. They was together 50 years.
He was cheating on her the whole time.
Well, yeah, that might have been the case. But they might have still loved each other. Like, I've never experienced that. So I don't know what that looks like. So I've had to figure out on my own, like, what does that look like? And then I was what is contributing? Is my past trauma or my lack of experience contributing to how relationships falling apart? So that's where my own self-accountability came.
I think I was fortunate enough to see those types of relationships. I have aunts and uncles who, especially my grandmother for sure. Shout out to my mama. I'm very close to my grandmother, and she was married before her husband passed away, and then she's been remarried for years. And then my mom was married to my dad. And then they got, even then they didn't have a tumultuous divorce or anything. My dad never hit my mother, yelled at my mother, called her names. I don't have those types of memories. And so I'm very thankful for that. But my dad also had 4 other children with Caucasian women. And so when I was speaking to my little brother recently, he saw that. Because my dad and his mom were arguing and doing all of that. And I told him, I said, I am so sorry because I didn't have those memories. And I think that reflects as to why he's in the type of relationship he is in now with his baby mom and all of that. And so for me, I saw my mother, sorry to say this about my mom, but I saw my mom do a lot of stupid stuff with men after my father. And so that has deterred me from I don't want to call her an idiot, but that has deterred me from making some of the silly decisions that she has.
I feel like I get that. I feel like I've watched my mom date men, and now I'm like kind of opposite.
Yeah, I agree.
I want my love
exactly.
I definitely agree with that.
So we see an example, and we take that example, and we use it as a way to map out what we want in our partner. Because you'd be like, well, my mom had this, and I don't want that. And see, because heterosexual relationships really are the blueprint for us, because that's where we came from. It maps it out.
It allowed me to humanize my mother, because she didn't see that. So how was she supposed to have a healthy relationship when she never saw a healthy relationship? So I think that lent to that extending grace. But go ahead, Javi.
Sure. Your parents are human.
Yeah.
That part. I think that I just want to make a note that lets us know, like, first of all, I don't think what I'm about to say exists to be mutually exclusive, or I believe that 2 things can exist at once. But I think that when you're in a relationship, I think that is a good point for you to learn and grow.
Mhm.
And I don't think that is necessarily where healing does begin, but it's not to say that healing can't happen there.
Right.
Because sometimes folks need extra support, and that loving kind of support helps add on to the healing. But again, to go back to what I was saying is just, you got to work on your stuff first and love yourself first in order to reach that place.
So like, I've a cute transition. So speaking of like how relationship dynamics work or don't work, I think it's kind of normalized how untraditional relationships and with queer people in general, but on topic with gay men of color. Has anyone had experiences being in either an open relationship or a poly relationship or polyamory?
I don't even know what does polyamorous even mean?
I think Javi would be the best to define it.
Why?
No, I meant like, cause I love how Javi speaks, and I feel like he has a better perspective on him to me. I don't
Very
want to.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, that wasn't shade, actually, Phaedra. I promise.
What's that shade?
No, yeah, I think that like polyamory encompasses like folks being in mutually consensual relationships with multiple people at once. I think that being in an open set is a little bit different because you're not necessarily having multiple relations that, at the root of that word, amor is there, where love exists, I think. It doesn't necessarily have to be, again, mutually exclusive to somebody, but I think that there's a discerning line between being in an open set versus being polyamorous, where you're giving people your love intentionally.
I've never been in anything like that. Have I been involved with somebody who was? Yes.
They was in a poly or they was in an open relationship?
They was in an open relationship. I've never been involved.
Was it a one-sided open relationship?
No, so this is what I'm always told.
Yeah.
My partner knows.
Yeah.
And usually when you're on apps, they will say that, right? And so
if you're on an app, I mean, I would hope your partner knows because they're gonna find out.
I would hope so. You'd be surprised. Some people are just naturally silly.
Yeah, that's true.
I've slept with people who have had those types of relationships, and so I'm not. I always say as long as everybody is consenting and everybody's showing each other respect, then that's cool. AKA, don't have nobody calling my phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Talking about I'm gonna be like, girl, I don't even get involved in stuff like that. So I feel like if those things are set, whatever you got going on over there, when it starts to impede on my life, that's when it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're just having fun, right? So like, I don't need all of that. So if y'all in an open relationship, that's on y'all.
Okay. Would you want to be? Are y'all open to that?
No.
I mean, I've engaged in open relationships with folks. I think what was most important in those sets was that there was a lot of front-loaded and open communication there.
Exactly.
Because I want to be contributive to that polyamorous relationship because I want them. I guess I support the messaging of like honesty and integrity and not being inhibited sexually.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I just think that. What's that called? Like, I can't be sold on it. I mean, I read The Ethical Slut. Like, I know what it is and I know about it, but I just can't be sold that idea. I think there's a lot of cultural hindrances on my side that are just like, I don't think that I can do that. And also, again, with my message about like, I need to work on my stuff first. I don't think I can juggle multiple relations at the same time. I don't think that I'm well suited at the time, and in my mental state ain't for that.
I feel the same way. I feel like I could get around the idea. Like, I support everyone that does poly open, to each its own. But I mean, I feel like at one point I could be down for poly, but I want like all my boyfriends to like, they don't date other people. They don't date each other. Like,
they just date you.
They just date me.
You want like, because you like
number one nesting partner.
So you like basically you want to have like different aspects of personalities of one man that maybe the other one doesn't have.
That'll be fun.
I think, like, to be very frank and just, y'all know I'm just a transparent girl. I think I'm too insecure and to be in a poly relationship, to be honest with you. And I say that because I think I would be jealous of my partner, say, because I know a lot of times it's like you have a main partner and then you explore having a poly dynamic. It doesn't always, it's subjective, and I know it like is different in each relationship. But for this instance, say I have a partner and they decided like they want to open a relationship up. And I think it would be hard for me to see my partner fall in love with somebody else. And I think that would be difficult.
But why don't you? But that's a open relationship. The open is they don't really fall in love. They just like go.
But that's different with open. I don't want to do that because I feel like personally, I feel like open relationships and like I shout out to everyone. You know what works for you and your dynamic works for you. But I think it goes to that communication piece that Javi said. I know for a fact there's a lot of instances where the lines of communication get blurred with open relationships, and that would kind of freak me out a bit. I think maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak, and that's something that I'm working on. But it's a lot of and then we could draw the lines of like one-sided open relationships. Okay,
for sure.
What's that? Tell the people.
Tell the people your partner's cheating on you, or your one partner don't know that they're in an open relationship, and your partner's in an open relationship. What?
Just call a spade a spade.
You're cheating.
Yeah, but
that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the trade does.
Yeah,
they're in an open relationship
I don't want to conflate
that their partner doesn't know about.
I don't want to conflate like a one-sided open relationship or maybe one partner.
Okay, your partner's cheating, basically, and you're telling people you're in an open relationship, say, for example.
Okay, it sounds like somebody does.
Huh?
Oh, she know a few people that do that.
No, for me, I'm not interested in either. I think it's too many personalities.
You said I'm not interested. Okay.
It's too many personalities, but I'm definitely I support everybody who does
like, that's so funny.
I'm not interested in neither one. But if I had to pick one, I would maybe pick the poly.
Me too. Yeah, no shade. If I had to pick one, the only
reason I would pick poly is because we can split these bills, and I like to cook. So I wouldn't mind cooking for
a large group.
Me too.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, they come over here. Oh, your food tastes good.
I don't mind cooking for people. But when it comes down to the sex piece, that's where it's going to get confusing for me.
But you know, I ain't trying to do all y'all right now.
But you know, it works for some people. Shout out to every people that it works for. And I think they explained it to me. They explained like this dynamic works for me. And what works for you works for you. I just I don't know. And maybe I'm just closed-minded to it. I come from maybe from a traditional standpoint. I
definitely
think
more traditional.
I think when, I'm trying to divest away from kind of the cultural hindrance pieces for me, I think that I'm informed by like coming from a traditional like Latino family, but I think what really allowed me to wrap my head around the notion of like open relationships or open sets is the part where we as gay men decide to have like an fixed role, kind of like if you're a bottom, you're a bottom. If you're a top, you're a top. If you're a verse, you're in it all.
Yeah.
But I think once those pieces, like I think how I was approached previously once is like if you have a fixed role where maybe you're the insertive or the receptive partner, whichever, you still have needs that maybe there should be some middle grounds that maybe if you're both insertive partners, you can find middle grounds where you can open up the set or open up the relationship to a receptive partner.
An exclusively receptive.
And, I think that depends on the lines that you want to draw with it. Whether you make it an open set or make it a polyamorous relationship, I think is kind of informing of like what you're willing to do and where you are. I think it also talks a little bit to where your growth mindset is. Like, are you willing to do these things? Because at the end of the day, our preferences can sometimes get in the way of us reaching ultimate love with our partner.
And then also, like, where do our preferences derive from? Like, where do those come from? A lot of times.
TV.
Yeah, so
but I feel like so I love this topic because you said something about bringing somebody in.
Is that considered an open relationship when you invite people in to have threesomes or foursomes?
That's what I was gonna ask.
I think that's open.
That's open.
That's not polyamory. Usually is these people are in a committed relationship with each other.
Yeah,
they're not seeing outside.
But it's not considered open though. If you have
because what if like we just do it for like a one-off,
a little threesome?
Yeah,
I think that's open.
Can be real at once.
Yeah, I think that.
Okay.
I think open
because I know people who do that and they don't consider themselves to be in an open relationship.
Yeah, I think open.
But how often are they doing it?
It's like, hey,
like relatively, like I wouldn't say all the time, but I would say like it's frequent enough to where it's like that's a conversation piece. It wasn't like if you plan to do something and you've done it with multiple people, I would assume it's consistent enough to where we're having a conversation. Like, why don't y'all just explore an open relationship?
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like I don't know, like maybe like my partner, he would never do a threesome, but like I wouldn't be like if he came to me and was like, oh, we might like, can we have a threesome? Like I could be open to the possibility.
Would you have to be selective of who it was? Like, would you let him select or would you select?
See, but like I wouldn't even do it in the city I was from. Like, it would be a cute little, like,
Of
out of
course.
town
I don't
thing.
think nobody's doing
And
that.
then, like,
People talk
you
to
get your one little one
With
off
your
and then come back.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be cute.
Oh, like a hall pass type of situation?
No, like, y'all going
together.
out of town. Like, you on vacation together.
Hey, he cute. Let's see.
Yeah, bring him back to the hotel, 1, 2, and then.
Would you give your man a hall pass if he was out of town?
Absolutely not for me.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it would depend on how our situation is.
If you need a hall pass when you out of town, then you must hate me.
I might
No
not
shade.
out of town.
It's not that deep.
Oh, it is that deep.
You
for me.
I feel you.
Because
I
what
feel
am
like that
not doing?
too,
What am I
like-
not doing at home that you?
No, I feel
you
like-
gotta do this out.
Yeah.
I feel like, but after
Well, where's that coming from?
Yeah, you hate me.
Yeah, I feel like
No, I think
it
you
might
hate
be
me.
a little insecurity, not shade.
I feel like,
No.
okay, if you're in a
Stand me,
new
child.
relationship, if your partner's already asking for a hall pass, like that's
That's
the
a
issue.
problem.
But like, like after so long you're in a relationship, things get stale. Like you have to rejuvenate the sex. Maybe like he's like, okay, well, can I do like this one off?
But with
So
your,
for me, it's time to leave.
yeah,
so we're
But
done.
I'm like, okay,
but you don't. The girls ain't having those conversations though.
Oh no! If we have that conversation, I'm gonna be like, oh, so we don't need to be together.
You know, but they're not asking for hall passes. They're just like that's not happening.
They're openly communicating and being honest with you about their needs.
That's
and
different.
wants.
Yeah.
If that's
And then I
happening,
feel
that's
like you can do
different. But
that
if that's
with
not happening,
somebody
it's a whole
else.
different conversation.
Have a good. This was nice.
a hall. Yeah.
I appreciate you. Your locks will be changed.
I want a relationship.
I think
where
that-
there is an issue with like those type of things that they are able to communicate with me. So like we can switch things up, we can switch the positions, we can try new things. You know.
What does that mean though? To like,
I don't know either because
Well,
I've been
like,
in a
switching-
6-year relationship and I didn't.
when you're in a relationship with somebody, what aren't y'all doing? That y'all in a relationship, so what aren't y'all doing that I'm
Some
not
baby
satisfying?
girls are
these
very
needs?
fixed. Like they want to just. I think.
I think we have to just take it like some people are just who they are.
Or like they're fetishists. You know, fetishists
Yeah.
like develop over time. Like maybe they've like grown to know like a fetish that they like that they are scared to tell you as well.
Yeah, because certain things I'm not doing.
I think it's a natural part of
You gotta be
growth.
open-minded with trying.
And not doing no
evolving.
golden shower.
What? No. No.
I feel like I think the reason why like there's so much stigma
That's crazy
around
to me.
there's so much stigma around poly and open relationships because society sees gay men specifically as hypersexual anyway.
Oh yeah. So like you're in a poly relationship,
you just
people
want to
be
get
like,
you
that's
just
on brand.
because a poly relationship is like I feel like a love dynamic and people think oh girl you just want to have sex and you just want to have multiple people and that's why I'd be like okay then open relationships like okay you want sex people a lot of men specifically are detached from sex like they don't really see sex as something like valuable in the sense of like we have to have this romantic we have to have a romantic connection yeah it's transactional so I think that hypersexual sense gets there as well. I think that if you have an understanding with your partner, like y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do, like that's your business. But I feel like we get into that again, the one-sided. But what Javi said would just be frank, the cheating aspect. I think that's just like it is what it is. I think you have to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
I think that my approach when I've seen that face.
He
But
said,
I think y'all.
yeah.
Let me thought. I think that
Y'all's kids so bad, going.
there's definitely a point like to talk about our willingness or unwillingness to like bring this to the table. Whether or not you're considering being in a polyamorous relationship or an open set, like I think that kind of says a lot more about us than it does the other person. And I just want to be frank with that because I think that we come from cultures where it's heavily stigmatized or we just plainly don't talk about sex at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think that
Big time.
being uninhibited or inhibited about your sexual acts has anything to do with being hypersexual or being perceived in that way. I think it really just gets down to the nitty-gritty about like what you're most comfortable with, what you're willing to receive and not receive, what you are willing to put your energy or capacity towards. I think that ultimately when you're engaging about open sets, when you are bringing up polyamory in a relationship that may have been a closed set beforehand, I think it speaks a lot about your willingness to grow and learn and just engage and navigate stuff that may feel foreign, may feel far away from where you come from. But I don't think it's like not a piece of territory that we cannot navigate.
I think like how we discussed earlier about like race, ethnicity, and the intersectionality between those two. and being like just living our lives based upon whether it's what we do for work or what we decide to engage in our free time. I think it plays a large role about having open dialogue about those things. I think that in white-centric queer spaces, these conversations is very much normalized. These type of relationships, these type of relationships are very much normalized. Now we know it's happening with people that look like us and share those experiences. We don't see it or we don't talk about it. It's just a lot of shame. I think I know people who are in open relationships, right, that aren't like advertly talking about it amongst these kind of social settings because they're afraid of the reaction they're gonna get or the questions that they're gonna get.
It comes to your family didn't talk about those types of things.
Yeah.
And when Javi was saying, you have to be able to receive some of them things. I'm not completely cut off to I'm not cut off to the idea, but just know that you're gonna have a hard time.
You're gonna have a hard time selling it. You better try to sell it.
You're gonna have a hard time selling it to me because for me, when I'm with my partner, I think I'm a freak. I do it all, right?
Okay.
So I just don't understand why you would want to do that.
Because they want to taste everything, girl.
Yeah, and you can do it as a single person.
Hypothetical, like what if you had a partner that was studying abroad for a year or two? Like, what would y'all do?
I think that's different.
Middle ground?
I think
that's where the whole
that's the past. See, that's a circumstance, a contextual circumstance. Like, okay, you out of the country for a year.
But wait a minute, why didn't I go?
Because he's studying
abroad,
so I can't go there.
Yeah, but I can come visit.
Yeah, you better visit.
I can come visit. Like, but I think like
trying to figure out why.
I feel like a little one-off. Like they're not asking for hall passes. Let's just keep it real. So like that's not happening. Those
for me, it's like if we're not having that,
that's so rare. I feel like that's like less than 5%.
If we're not having that conversation, I guess for me it's kind of in the words of Tamar Braxton,
right?
If your man is cheating on you and you ain't gonna leave him, let your man
let him cheat in peace, boo.
Okay.
So
let him cheat in peace, boo.
I think
no shade, no funny
So
shit.
do you think why do people stay in those relationships? Is it comfortable?
Yeah. They just be comfortable.
Comfortable, financial. Yeah. It's a lot of things like
but
that.
I feel like people love each other still. You can still love somebody, but
after you cheat,
after you cheat on them, I think that can exist, but I think you just don't respect them. So like, I think that
and if that's the case, you need to let them go.
Let them go.
Because once you lose respect to somebody,
Keisha Cole, shout out to
I don't want your man
because I got it like that. And it ain't even gotta be like that.
But if you don't respect your partner, you probably need to let that go at that point. Because there's a lot of things that I could let go, but like. For instance, you see these straight relationships all the time. I think when people are like having babies on people, to me, that's a go.
Yeah, that's a done.
Because this is how I think. If even in heterosexual or gay relationships as well, if you don't have the respect for me to use a condom, then you don't like me at all. Because me and you are in a relationship, so we're doing whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're going out and sleeping with other people and you don't even have the common decency to use a condom and you're possibly bringing me something back or you're having a baby on me, because let's be clear, gay men are having babies too.
Yeah.
Because there are bisexual. Your partner could be bisexual. You don't even really know. Because again, like Javi said, this is a piece of their life that they were not comfortable talking to you about. Okay. So if so if we're together and you go out and sleep with a woman and have a baby on me, you don't even have the common decency for me to even use a condom. I think that's like the ultimate disrespect. So we're done.
I agree.
I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I think it resonates to my like harm reduction spirit of like thinking if you're engaging, if we're not talking about it, but you're engaging in these things that are kind of gray space for you, how are you mitigating risk for me or nesting partner or the partner that you're going to come to bed at night with?
Right.
So it does resonate.
But I don't think that's always taken into consideration.
No, it's not.
Definitely not.
Heat of the moment
was done in the dark.
It comes to the light, baby.
Heat of the moment turns into a frontal kick in the chest.
Okay. Yeah. You're going to get mollywopped. But no. Of course, no DV.
None.
So we're gonna wrap this up, and I want to thank y'all for joining us. I want to thank y'all for having us. Thank you so much for supporting our platform.
Yes, this was so fun.
I'm glad. I mean, we definitely hope to have you on a future episode as well.
This is really good.
And we're gonna time out.
Time out. Oh, time out Mondays.
Okay, you wrapped it.